Okay, we're live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, returning guest. If you listen to my show over the last few years, you'll know his name, Chris Taylor. He operates the YouTube channel Don't Let Them Burn. Check it out. Great videos. He's a very accomplished graphic artist and does great work on screenshots and all this other things that pertain to his YouTube channel. He also does stuff outside of his YouTube channel too, but our most recent show we did within the last month was titled Transhumanism, Occultism, and AI. And so we did it in entertainment, excuse me. Transhumanism, Occultism, and AI in entertainment. And it was a two-part series. And I was talking to him, and I remember in one of our shows back in, a couple of years ago, he was telling me about this film, Suicide Squad. And some of the stuff in here, there's a scene in here. This is a total spoiler alert. We're going to spoil the entire movie for you.
Yep.
But there is a scene between these kind of two anti-heroes, I guess, the Joker and Harley Quinn. And they kind of have this marriage baptism. I remember him telling me about it. And so I was always intrigued. And I know he does a lot of film analysis in this type of genre. So I think he's a perfect guest to have on to talk about the film Suicide Squad from 2016, featuring and leading Will Smith, who we did another show where he's talking about Will Smith is an alchemist. He's admitting in an interview he's an alchemist. So those things kind of were stewing around in my consciousness. So I think this is a perfect fit for a Friday afternoon. And I'm glad to have him back. So Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again. And glad to be with your audience, and my audience is watching it as well. And I think we're going to have a good time tonight.
Cool. So for people who didn't listen to our earlier shows, may not be familiar with you, if you'd like to add anything about your bio, how you kind of got interested in Marvel. I think you have, maybe of all my guests, like more about that comedy world and Marvel and what they're putting in the mass media more than anybody that I can think of. Maybe you can just talk about that and your interest, and then we can go right into this film, Suicide Squad.
Well, I came over from Jamaica in around 73, 74, 75. And as soon as I hit America, I got introduced to a lot of different genres. Before, where I came from, we probably only had 1, 2, 3 channels, if that. And the TV would only come on at certain times of day. And so I got introduced to Star Trek, Doctor Who, and a whole Super Friends, all sorts of stuff, right? And from there, it's just been a lot of movie watching with my mom and other people. And then I got into comic books later on. So I have a whole history of pretty much sitting in front of the screen, tell you the truth. But I read a lot of comic books. I was heavy into X-Men and mostly X-Men. I did know Superman and DC and all this stuff, but I was really into X-Men a lot. My favorite artist was Jim Lee. And I started drawing my own comics in the 90s. So that's why I have all this experience. And then I was heavy into the Hollywood scene, as far as not the in reality, but watching all sorts of films. I don't care if it was horror, adventure, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, throughout pretty much my whole life. So if I wasn't introduced to it the way I was, I probably wouldn't be able to do what I do today.
Gotcha. So you have this background, you know a lot of the characters and the art and all that stuff. And what was it about Suicide Squad that caught your eye right from the beginning?
I knew about the comic book, even though I didn't read it. And there are a lot of different iterations of the Suicide Squad. But at this time, starting from 2013 with Man of Steel and Zack Snyder, I followed the DC universe. And this comes on the heels of Batman versus Superman. And you'll see some of that in this presentation. So that's probably the only reason I watched the movie, because it belonged to the same universe as what we call the Snyderverse.
Snyderverse. Is that the director? The Snyder guy?
Yeah, Zack Snyder. Yeah.
Zack Snyder, right. Was he the one who directed this?
No. It was another. I think Darren Aronofsky, or another guy.
I didn't mean to throw the curveball. Let's see. Suicide Squad.
But it's influenced from his universe, though. You'll see as we go along. and I'll make some references.
James Gunn. Oh no, that's the 2021 one.
Yeah, that's the 2021. Yeah,
David Ayer. I've never heard.
David Ayer. There it is. Yeah, no, it was one of those Davids.
Gotcha. But these guys, they direct all those ones. I know Gunn had some controversy about him, like some Hollywood dark stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
because he was working for Marvel, then some conservative researchers found a whole ton of jokes that were pedophilic, and he got in trouble for it. Then DC hired him, Warner Brothers, and then he went back to Marvel, and then went back to DC, and now he's in control of DC, but not for too long with all the mergers going on.
Right. So he kind of was able to survive some of the stuff. I think he had some really scandalous costumes or something like that too.
Yeah. Photos are out there. Yeah.
But how do you want to get started with Suicide Squad, the 2016 version, right? Who are all the actors? It's
Will Smith. I don't know all the actors' names, but even the guy that's dressed up as Diablo, people would know his name. I can't remember his name, but he stars in a Y50. He also starred in that movie Hostel from back in the day, in the 2000s.
Oh wow, that's like people always bring that up in regards to the smiley face killers, but it's in like the smiley face is predominant in this film. I was wow, this is crazy.
And
let's see, Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Joel Kinnaman, Viola Davis, Jai Courtney, Jay Hernandez, Scott Eastwood, so the son of Clint Eastwood.
He doesn't have any lines though, but he's in there. Yeah.
Cara Delevingne. Yeah.
The particular thing about Jared Leto is he's a method actor, and as you dig into method acting, you see a lot of these guys are possessed when they're doing their thing. They get into full character and they don't break character. And there's a story about him throwing a rat at Margot Robbie, whole sorts of stuff going on there with Jared Leto. And if I didn't put it in the presentation, but there's a magazine cover you can find where he has these occult symbols, triangles on both arms in the photo. So he's into this freaky deaky witchy poop stuff.
There is absolutely no doubt about it. He runs some kind of like alternate group on Lookout Mountain, or that mountain up on top of Laurel Canyon. So he has a connection to that, and they're all wearing white. And this image like is burned into my brain because I'll show it to you just to get started, because it's so full of like a cult meaning. This is it. This is the Jared Leto. Let's see if you can see that. It ties into this film. Here he is at the water. It looks like morning, not evening, because it's morning. It's not. But there's the smiley face, and he's got his hoodie, and he's making the sign of Typhon, a two-fingered salute. It's either this or this, but this is exactly what the Baphomet makes.
Yeah.
And even his hand gestures, and that he's in between the land and the water too, is also a tell. So he's in between earth and water, which is like those symbols, those triangle symbols you're mentioning are the fire, water, air, and land, or whatever, earth. That's what those symbols represent in the pentagram. So, and then the spirit is one of the fifth one. So sometimes these guys are presenting these occult ideas, and he's definitely doing that here. Black heart, he like literally puts the black heart symbol there.
Yeah. So. And you're going to see tied to the water issue as we go along. Interdimensional travel, scrying, and other issues.
It's all there in this thing. It's crazy. So there's the sign of silence. I saw that. Here's another thing. This is from Nick Hinton, but like the echelon is what he calls it. And Lookout Mountain, Air Force Station, Laurel Canyon, and made a home out of it. And there he is, like everybody's wearing white, like a
little cult. Yeah. And he's a weirdo. He's always been. Go back all the way to the movie Alexander.
Fight Club. Do you know he was in Fight Club?
No, I didn't know that.
That's another smiley face. That's 1999. So literally almost 30 years ago. He was like a bit player in the Project Mayhem, I think it was. He gets beat up really bad, and his face is scarred. And
he's in his 50s, but he doesn't quite look it. And I don't know if that's genes or the other thing.
Right, or something else.
Right.
Yeah, let's get into the slides. Let's see.
All right. So for those that don't know what my channel is about, just want to show a short
Yeah,
video.
do it.
You ready? Yeah. All right. This is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Let me tell you what it's all about. Our first goal is to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world through media. Our second goal is to expose the works of darkness, starting with entertainment, a device the devil uses to control your mind and soul. We also get into Bible prophecy, world events, the occult, UFOs, and other weird subjects. Why? Because these are the subjects that are interwoven into a lot of your entertainment. It's in your music, your video games, your reading materials, like comic books. Yeah, I love them comic book movies, right? You really want to know the truth about some of these subjects and how to protect yourself and your families? Then subscribe now. Don't let them burn. All right. So if you want to follow me, of course, there's YouTube, there's Rumble. On Telegram, it's Don't Let Them Burn Official. We share assortments of resources, news articles, political, Hollywood, and everything else. And of course, I'm on X as well. So if you want to follow me there, you can. And we did a show just the other day on the Dark Phoenix from the X-Men universe. And the surprising parallels between that movie and this movie are astonishing. You know, all the mind control and the MK Ultra, SRA. So as we get into it, so this is Suicide Squad from 2016, and you get an assortment of characters. Not all of them are not necessarily important. The Joker plays his part, but sometimes he feels just like a shoo-in. And Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and the Witch are the most important characters, and Diablo for particular reasons. So as we move, these are the two posters out there that you've probably already seen the advertisements from way back then. These are the characters, and some of them will get explained a little bit later, but Diablo, he's an embodiment for I believe it's an Aztec god, but they don't explain that until later on. So spoiler alert, the Enchantress, she is related to the goddess Diana or Artemis and a host of other names. Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games, and when you see the moon symbol on top of the head there, that's more in your face, but she would be like a hunter goddess, a moon goddess, and other things. If you ever seen the TV show C on Apple TV, the guy's daughter, the main character, by season 3, she has the same moon symbol on her head because she's going to war. This is a warrior goddess. And of course, the Joker is more related to death. His face is white, just like in voodoo. The white deathly appearance. He's also like the prankster, the devil, the jester, and even probably related even to the cult of Dionysus, however you say that. This guy's not necessarily important. He can climb anything, whoop-de-doo, right? Harley Quinn, she's like the opposite to the Joker, and we'll see her change as we get into the movie. And of course, she's a lunatic. And in the TV, they have a cartoon now, TV show, where she's a lesbian and all this other stuff. This one's Katana. We can get to her later. She's not super important, but her sword is. Of course, this is Deadshot, and he is a type of figure that we're going to reveal later. He's a sharpshooter, but he doesn't miss, so he could be, listen to the word, could be related to Artemis, not Artemis, one of the gods with the arrows.
Oh, right.
Right? Because they never miss.
Orion, is that right?
I know there's another
Orion
one.
with the bow.
Orion and another one. But again, you'd have to do more research to find out. So then we have Rick Flag, which there's nothing super weird about him except for he is duplicitous. He's like the hero that can't figure out who he is, right? Then Croc, we'll explain a little bit more about him later. But remember last time I talked to you about evolution and how it's a lie, and a lot of these, whether it's villain or heroes, they are related to the theory of evolution. And we'll see more of that later. And then we have Boomerang, which is just a psychopath, dreg of society. I don't know if he's related to any pagan gods or anything, but then we have the female devil, Amanda Waller, and we'll see why I say that in a minute. So, as anything you want to say before we move on?
No, I'm just thinking Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, and I think that half
Right.
moon is her.
Yes.
And then Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto,
Mm.
and I think he might be the one with the bow, but I don't know.
Yeah, and there's some in the other pantheon as well. You know, these gods, goddesses, they kind of repackage themselves for the civilization that they're about to, influence. And we have the mother and child cults, all also related to the Queen of Heaven, and we'll see some more of this as we move on. So as the movie opens, we get to the black site. Terrebonne, is that how you pronounce that? Terrebonne Parish in Louisiana. I don't even know if it's fictional or real. I didn't look that up. But this is interesting right here. This is the prison, Belle Reve, and we have the serpent on the left and the triune pagan god symbol on the right. And I cannot tell you which god it belongs to, but you see this on your furniture. You see it all over clothing and stuff, but it's related to some sort of deity. And then we have the angel of death in the middle. So till death do us part, special security barracks. All right. Anything you want to mention about that?
Well, please continue.
All right. So the opening scene here is with Will Smith, and they're all in this prison, kind of like a prison asylum, and the guards treat them like crap, and so he's telling them to come here. You got a secret. Somehow, some way, I'm gonna get it. This is Will Smith saying, "I'm gonna get out of here," and the guys cheers him on, and so Will Smith's like Deadshot, and I'm gonna rain down on you like the Holy Ghost. There's a reason why he's saying Holy Ghost, because he's a Jesus figure, but more of a replacement, not the real thing. You'll see why as we go on. So write that down in your notes. Deadshot is a Jesus figure. Okay. All right. So here we have a ballerina type. I don't know why they would allow her to do this, but writers, right? So this is Harley Quinn doing her little thing on the ropes in her prison cell there. And they were telling them to open a perimeter fence. You're going to come down from here or what? And on her shirt there, we see burn after you, kind of like a whore, whore symbolism, that sort of thing. Because after you use her up, you want to burn her, right? And she starts doing these sluttish moves on the jail cells, and he's like, oh, he's getting like acting like he's turned on. And he says that you are really in bad shape upstairs there, lady. And he tells him to hit her. And you see the guard there pushing the button, and she gets zapped and falls to the ground. Now, what this does is trigger her memories. And the memories are not to serve her, it's to serve the audience, us. And so says, come on, man, you're 6'4". She's a tiny little girl. And you see her balled up there, kind of smiling and crying at the same time. And he said, you got a choice tonight. What we got here, we see chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, and they're in cans, right? It kind of doesn't make any sense, and I'm not sure what symbolism this is, but in the cup there, they're pulling out one of the fluid from the cans, and they don't really explain which one is which. And so it says, my job is to keep you alive until you die. Do you understand that? And so he starts to inject, and of course she's in pain and suffering, and he's making fun of her, right? And saying, "Oh, it's spring break," basically taking a selfie like it's spring break. And then we come back, and she's still on the floor. And then she wakes up in rage and runs to the cell, the bars, and boom, hits her head and gets knocked out. And he says, "This is just a whole lot of pretty and a whole lot of crazy." And then we push back, and we see the guard monitor. Now, what's important about this is trauma-based mind control, and we're going to go through her journey of this trauma, because she wasn't always like this. Okay, and so we push back and we see the guard, but we're going to go to another scene. So before I go to the next scene, anything you want to say right there?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. So they say now, okay, right now there's a song playing, and we're going to get to that in a couple seconds. And the reason why this song is important, this is Amanda Waller. She is the covert, the CIA, whatever the alphabet group you want to put to her, she's probably involved in it. Okay, really evil woman. And she will do anything to get ahead. So it says the world changed when Superman flew across the sky. And then it changed again when he didn't. And as she's going into the building she's entering into, you see Superman merch, and this guy holds up "Remember," and then we switch to a scene where jets are flying over, and there's a procession with a casket. Sorry, there, casket.
Yeah,
right?
isn't it Superman's dead?
Right, and I'll explain that in 2 seconds. Right, and we see the vigil. Right. So this is coming off of Batman versus Superman, right? This was the second film in the Snyderverse, right? And a lot of it was forced, but I'm not going to get into all that. So in this film now, after Batman and Superman fight for no reason, it's kind of stupid, but we get Doomsday. And Doomsday in the comics is the one that kills, the only creature that could kill Superman without a really big fight. And so this is by the end of the film, Superman, who is also a Jesus figure, sacrifices itself by putting something that looks like the Spear of Destiny into Doomsday, and he also had part of Doomsday armor. You could say that, like a rhino armor, you know, the nose and whatever, into his chest, into his heart, and so all that energy around him is from Doomsday. And then at the end we see Superman is dead, but of course, you know, they're gonna bring him back. So that's why they're having this funeral and procession and all that. So anyway, Amanda now and says that is why I'm here, because there's no Superman. But while she's entering this whole scene into the movie, guess what's playing? Sympathy for the Devil. And why that is important is because she is a devil figure. She is an embodiment for that sort of evil, right? And this song has been very popular over the last 20 years, in different movies, different TV shows, and also in the video game Black Ops, because Black Ops was set in the 70s, right? And then there's also a movie, I never watched this movie, but there's also this movie, Sympathy for the Devil, and there goes the one-eye symbolism, right? And then we get the reveal of the movie, Suicide Squad. And the song is still playing right here, by the way. This is the whole thing to enter into the full reason the movie is in your face, right?
Yeah, they must have spent millions of dollars for the songs they played, because they were all from the original artists. I mean,
yeah,
it's incredible stuff in there.
Yeah. And so now we're going to get to Amanda's purpose. She says, "But I finally have them, the worst of the worst. There's rumors, Amanda, that some of them have abilities." And she throws down the top secret book there. And he says, there are rumors. Okay, I already said that. So this is the guy talking. And he says, she says, "Well, the rumors are right. You know what the problem with a metahuman is? The human part. So she's explaining to you here that these people, you can't really count them as human, even though they are offspring from humanity in a sense, right? And so we'll see how this gets described as we go on. It's just like I'm telling you, it's a parallel of the X-Men, right? That we did the other day, and I had to explain them to them that the X-Men are not human, right? And so she goes on. We got lucky with Superman. He shared our values. The next Superman might not. And he says, "You're playing with fire, Amanda. I'm fighting with fire with fire. You're not going to pitch us that Task Force X project of yours again, are you?" She says, "Yes, but this time you're going to listen." So then we start going into some of the characters that she's unfolding in this top secret document. And so this is Deadshot, and he's an assassin for hire, human arsenal, lethal from 4 meters, and all of these guns he's very great with. He does not miss. Okay. And then it kills more guns come down, shotgun, M carbine, M1 carbine, and all these other things. And his family is his daughter, and that's where we get the emotional tie through the movie, through his character, right? And so he says he's the most wanted hitman in the world. Let's say he has an elite clientele. Now, I didn't go ahead and get all the screenshots for what he was about to do, but I'm going to show you the Marvel comparison to Deadshot. That's Bullseye from Daredevil. And right now the Daredevil TV show is on. And pretty much the same thing. An assassin, he does not miss. And he's one of Daredevil's villains. Okay. And so she says, but everyone has a weakness, and the weakness can be leveraged. Speaking of Deadshot, he has an 11-year-old honor student in Gotham City, his daughter. So then we switched to a scene where him and his daughter are walking, and I didn't take all of the conversation. So we watched, and she said, so we watched her and waited.
Wow. And 11 is like the number of magic. It's
Right.
the most important occult number out there, probably.
Mm-hmm. And so she's saying, Dad, it's okay. I can take care of her, meaning her mother. And so he's now explaining, because her mother, she leaves at night and comes back, and the child hardly sees her. So anyway, she says, I want you to come and live with me. Mama says, I can't live with you because you kill people. Really? So he says, that's not true. That's a lie. She's lying to you while you're lying to her, right? And he says, Daddy, I know you do bad things. Don't worry. I still love you. Right? And so now it switches back. And it says, and you caught him? And she says, not me. I just gave an anonymous tip to the right guy in Gotham City. And so it turns out to be Batman. And he says, it's over, Deadshot. This is while he's still with a child. And I don't want to do this in front of your daughter. And a Deadshot is about to shoot Batman in the face. And she says, Daddy, please. And he says, Zoe, move. Please, Daddy, don't do it. Please. And this is going to tie to the end of the film as well. And so cop cars come, and she says, I love you, Daddy. And he pretty much surrenders. And so now the conversation goes to, so now we have the man who never misses. And I said, where did you put him? Let's just say I put him in a hole and threw away the hole. So next we get to Harley Quinn. And we switch to a scene that's at Arkham Asylum. It says before she ran off and joined the circus, she was known as Dr. Harley Quinzel, a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum. She was assigned to the clown himself. You know, I live for these moments with you. This is the Joker talking. What do you got? I got you a kitty. I'm not sure what that really means, but he says, so thoughtful. She thought she was curing him, but she was falling in love. There is something you could do for me, doctor. Anything. I mean, yeah, I need a machine gun. And he starts laughing, with his crazy face. And she says, talk about workplace romance gone wrong. And then we switch to another scene, clearly after we don't know how many moments or how many days, weeks, whatever. And we get this goat, shooting up the place, right? And so the shots went by really quick, so I had to catch this with the machine gun fire there. This guy gets killed, but of all symbolisms, of all animal symbolisms, why the Baphomet? I don't know if you could answer that, but
Right. No, I mean, but the symbolism pervades the entire show, like all the stuff, the occult stuff.
yeah.
There's actually real magical symbols in this movie. Like they integrated all that stuff,
Oh
much
yeah,
like that moon on the forehead. That's in like witchcraft for
right.
sure.
Yeah. And so more people come in. I'm not sure what this face is about, but that's one of the guys there shooting up the place, and we see them again later. Not the goat though, and that's the panda. And so they're pretty much rescuing Joker, and now we see.
Panda's a super dark, like pedophile symbol. I don't know if people know that, but
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
it's beyond discussion. It's like horrible.
Mm-hmm. And so this is Harlequin on the table telling the person holding out to get off her. And then we see the Joker come around and says, "What do we have here?" And with his crazy look, what are you gonna do? You gonna kill me, Mr. J? Says, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you, really, really bad." And she says, "You think so? Well, I can take it." Pretty presumptuous, right? And then he does the electroshock treatment on her, and that triggers a memory or a desire. They say they became the king and queen of Gotham City. And again, this is trauma-based mind control, and you'll see more of it as we go on. And she says, "And God help anyone who disrespected the queen," right? And now we're in a club scene. I left out a lot of this, just kept the important parts. So here we have Joker doing his weird smiley face on his hands, or on his hand, I should say. And this guy, that's Joker saying he loved this guy, right? And this guy has the all
Third
seeing
eye.
eye,
Yeah.
third eye, all seeing eye, whatever I don't know which one we want to use it in comparison here. But and he has a goat horn in his head. I mean, clearly it's an evil guy, but I'm just saying it's like, they went overboard with the symbolism. And he's looking at Harlequin and saying to the Joker that you're a lucky man, right? And she's dancing or whatever, and says, "You got a bad one, right?" And Joker is offended at that, so now he's trying to play a different role. He says, so he called Harlequin over and says, you are my gift to this handsome hunka," right? And says, "You belong to him now." And in the real world, this stuff this does happen. For this purpose, though, we see Harlequin flirting with him, and she says, "You're cute. You want me?" And she says, "I'm all yours." And this happens with a lot of traumatized women. We go all over the place with that one, but we see either Joker is enjoying it or getting very angry, and it looks like both to me, right? And he says, "I don't want no beef." And she says, "You don't want no." The Joker says, "You don't want no beef. You don't want no beef." And Harlequin says, "Fine, don't waste my time then. Look, are you enjoying yourself?" That's Joker talking. And he says, "No, that's your lady, Joker." And he says, "That's right." And then shoots him in the face. Okay. So after that, they go racing through the city. And this is Amanda talking now, and that was just the beginning. And we see them laughing and carrying on in the car. And she says that she's crazier than him, meaning the Joker, and more fearless. And right now, Batman is chasing them. They found out that he was behind them in his vehicle, and they end up crashing into a river or whatever. And this is after they crash. The Joker is nowhere to be found, but Harley Quinn is in the car, and Batman is trying to save her. Then she wakes up and tries to cut him or something because she's nuts. And he brings her to the Batmobile. And Amanda's saying, but the Bat got her too. She's in the same hole as Deadshot. And so that's the end of that part. And now we go to Captain Boomerang. It says, or as the tabloids call him, Captain Boomerang, and they give all the descriptions of him. He charges 54 counts of aggravated assault, 98 counts of burglary, first degree, psych profile, deranged, lunatic, possible alcoholic, and fetish is pink unicorns. All right, so remember that, pink unicorns. And so now, she said that he robbed every bank in Australia at least once. But take a look at the shield back there. There's an RC and I in there. I'm not sure what the V stands for, and I'm not sure if that's real or out the comic book, but it's suspicious, right? And then she says, then he came to America for a fresh target set. And so what happens is after he killed his partner, the Flash comes behind him and says, "No honor amongst thieves, hey?" And then pretty much the Flash took him away. And she says, but he got tangled with a metahuman, meaning the Flash, and lived to tell about it. Okay. So now, Diablo. And have you heard of the pyrokinetic homeboy?
No. Pyrokinetic homeboy? No, I've not. Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Latino, right?
Yeah. So the admiral says, how'd you catch him? Says, Amanda, we didn't. He surrendered. Now this scene right here connects to a scene later, but if you don't remember the scene, you're kind of thinking, okay, he just did a crime here or whatever. This is where he burned his girlfriend, and we'll see that later on.
And his kids.
Yeah, and his kids too. Yeah. So, they arrest him, and what's that? Let me see what it says here. Chato Santana. On the streets, they call him El Diablo. And this LA gangbanger thought he was king of the world. And what he has there in his hand is a flame figurine, if you want to call it that, of the dead woman. And so they light it up, and we have the Diablo thing there, caution, flammable, true extent of power unknown. And there's a reason for that. We'll get into that later. And so she says until he lost his queen, he had everything. And so gets jumped in a prison riot and incinerates half of the yard. The security video is incredible. And so we go to this security video. This is going to come up again. This right here doesn't really spell it out as it should. So so he incinerated a lot of these and the people in the yard, other prisoners. So now we get to this guy. This guy's important. Let me read what's on the document there. The man who operates under the title Killer Croc, and occasionally Croc or King Croc, is Waylon Jones, an individual born with a form of regressive atavism, resulting reptilian traits, both physical and psychological. Standing over 7 feet tall and weighing 360 pounds at his time of latest incarceration, Jones possesses near superhuman strength. And I'll stop there. Now, no, let me not stop there. Okay, it says, due to the presence of metagene, Jones boasts high endurance, lightning fast reflexes, and enhanced sense of smell, and consequently the ability to track prey, and the capacity to breathe underwater for extended periods of time. His skin, composed of reptilian scales, is hardened to an almost impenetrable degree. He can also withstand high caliber weapons and severe abrasions. Okay, so what made me stop and as I was reading this was the word atavism. I was like, what's atavism? What is that? Because this whole thing sounds like evolution, you know? So, atavism, the reappearance of characteristics in an organism after several generations of absence, or an individual or a part that exhibits atavism. The return of a trait or reoccurrence of previous behavior after a period of absence. Like, okay. So I went here and it says, uh, in biology, an atavism is a modification of biological trait, structure, or behavior whereby an ancestral genetic trait reappears after having been lost through evolutionary change, right? Uh, Guys, if you believe in evolution, I don't know what to tell you. It's all a lie, okay? and and especially in a previous generation, atavism can occur in several ways. One of which is when genes from previously existing phenotypic features are preserved in DNA, and these become expressed through a mutation, like the X-Men, that either knock out the dominant genes for the new traits or make the old traits dominate the new one. A number of traits can vary as a result of shortening of the fetal development of a trait, neoteny, I think that's how you pronounce that, or by prolongation of the same. In such case, shift in the time a trait is allowed to develop before it is fixed, can bring forth an ancestral phenotype. Atavism are often seen as evidence of evolution. Right. Okay. Stop lying to us. So anyway, then I found this graph here, and you see the evolutionary picture there. Some creature turned into another creature, and another creature turned into another creature that turned into a walking Neanderthal, and then all of a sudden it's man. Right. We're supposed to believe this, right? Re-expression of a physical or behavioral characteristic that was present in a past ancestral in a line of evolution. So you see people down there running like that. I mean, that's just a photo, right? This doesn't mean they're monkeys. And we see a man there with a couple nipples, doesn't mean he's a dog. Right? So it's all sorts of stuff people use to try to convince you of evolution. But that's what Killer Croc is based on. That's the whole point here. Anything you want to say before?
It's just a promotion of evolutionary theology or theocracy.
Right.
So
Yeah, theology is the right word.
just put it on there. It is a theology. It is.
Yeah.
It's. You have to have more faith to be a Darwinist than Christian or whatever.
Yeah.
Even a Muslim or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever human, whatever belief system, you have to have a lot of faith in evolution. So again, his name is Waylon Jones. And when we turn here, we're going to, looks like, I think it's a cell. And they open up this chamber that leads down to a sewer. So it says evolution took a step backwards with this one. And so we see him walk up, and then the Killer Croc thing comes up here. Do not attempt to feed. He is cannibalistic tendency, so he will eat humans. Experienced crocodile wrestler, king of the sewer, right? And so he looked like a monster, so they treated him like a monster. This is the sympathy for the mutant, the freak, whatever you want to say, whatever word you want to use. So they treated him like a monster. Then he became a monster. No, I thought you said evolution made him a monster. Okay, so then the reason why we jump from this to this is because he gets down and eats something, and they're kind of relating that to the cannibalism. Boom. Now she's not eating a person, obviously, but why else would you do that?
They switched to a steak. Yeah.
So then the conversation goes on. He was chased out of Gotham by the Bat. When being in Batman, for those that don't know, when searching for sanctuary elsewhere, he never found it. And then I think this is where they capture him or something like that. And so I saved the best for last. So we're moving on from Killer Croc now. The witch. And he says, a witch? The witch. I'm talking a flying, spell casting, making stuff disappear witch. A sorceress from another dimension, another world. And so they switch here to archaeologist Dr. June Moon, I think that's Moon. June, we're going to explain that in a second. I have a feeling, now this is not explained in the movie why her last name is Moon, but the Moon deity, god, goddess, was more worshipped in the old days than the sun god or sun goddess, however you want to switch that up. So we could have a connection here between the moon god. All right. And obviously, yeah, it's obvious because she has a moon on her after she gets possessed here. She has the moon on her head, right? And the fact that she's a woman is very important as well, and we'll get there in a second. And so she wandered into the wrong cave. And she opened something she shouldn't have. And here she's picking up an idol. And the idol is, you can call it Inanna, you can call it, these things are found all over the world, okay? I mean, all over the world. China, you name it, all over the world.
Mother goddess.
Yes, the mother goddess.
I just did a show with the biblical hitman about the mother goddess because it's everywhere. It's
right. And the mother and child cult, that sort of thing.
Goes through Greece, goes through everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere. All right. So what happens? I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but you see that person in the back there in the dark? That's the entity coming out to meet her. Okay. And so it says, I think this is Amanda talking, releasing a metahuman more powerful than any we've seen. Now, remember, the name human is in the title meta-human. This is not human, right? And so she walks up to her. And of course, the woman is probably stunned. And starts to do a little hibbity-jibbity spell casting or whatever that is. Walks up to her some more. And Amanda's saying, this is the enchantress. And they start to give the age and 6,000 plus years old, classified extra-dimensional entity. Where we heard that word or that phrase before? UFOs, demons, you name it, all over the occult, all over our government now, dealing with supposed aliens or whatever, right? Abilities, possess hosts, limit of power unknown, relatives. Oh, incubus. How about that? For those that don't know, that's a sex demon. And that's her brother, currently in a jar. So what they're pretty much saying here is that she's a succubus. Right? And for those that don't know, that's the opposite, the female sexual spirit. Okay? So as we move, it says she inhabits Dr. Moon's body now. And we start to see the possession, the black smoke, and her moving into her body. And the black smoke thing isn't far-fetched. I've seen stuff in my own life where I've seen the black smoke. And so someone says, I think this is the guy talking, the Admiral, where's the witch? She says, in my pocket.
Can you stop it right there?
Yeah.
This guy, it's really interesting overlap because this film came out in 2016. That's David Harbour.
Yeah.
And about a month after this film came out, Stranger Things came out and he played the lead role as Hopper.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother show we could do.
Yeah. Okay. So
I mean, I have a bad news. I don't know if I can do a full 2 hours because we're only 20 minutes into the film.
Wow. Yeah. And we're 49 minutes already? Goodness gracious.
So I think we're going to have to break this into two. Let's just go for 10 minutes and then we'll do another hour some other time or something.
Yeah.
I don't have 2 hours. I didn't set aside to full 2 hours. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Can we break it into two? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Because this is pretty long. You don't even want to know the amount of slides I have.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I apologize too, because I didn't know. In my mind, I was just thinking we'd do an hour overview. There's a
Yeah.
lot here. I haven't even talked about my notes yet. So, I mean,
Yeah.
which is great. So,
Yeah. So now tell him why she won't turn you into a frog. Some say the witch has a secret buried heart, and whoever finds it can control the witch. And we see this, I don't know what that is, idol. Oh, okay. We have the main altar there, and we have one idol over here, another idol over there. And so these are archaeologists or whatever. So we searched the cave where she turned up. And so that the one on the right is the idol she came out of, or bottle like a genie, and the one on the left is her brother. And so
right. So there you have 11 too. Number of magic
oh yeah,
again. They mentioned magic all throughout this film, guys.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And so this is where her heart is kept. It makes no sense realistically. You have the heart there and whatever, but you can equate it to voodoo. Okay, think about this like a voodoo doll. And so it's armed there, and she says that thing's her heart. She's vulnerable without it. That's what Amanda Waller says. So you want to put our national security in the hands of witches, gangbangers, and crocodiles. And so she says, don't forget about the Joker's girlfriend. These are villains, Amanda. What makes you think you can control them? Because getting people to act against their own self-interest for the national security of the United States is what I do for a living. You take the finest special forces officer this nation has ever seen, Colonel Rick Flagg. And so they put up his things there, his details. West Point graduate, blah, blah, blah. Special ops and counterinsurgency and the rest, right? And it turns out now that the flashback they're given is going to be him finding Miss Moon. The grass there is symbolism of the attraction of a lover to another. Remember, she's a succubus. I mean, right now she's not manifested, but you have the I don't even know what that symbol's called. I'm tempted to call it a pentagram, but I know it's not a pentagram.
It's something else, but it's like it. It's like a hexagram, pentagram together or something.
Yeah. And so she's engulfed in water. Remember, the water symbolism is very important here.
Right. So they're showing you all this occult symbolism through this film. Like that's really kind of one of the main takeaways is they're revealing it to those on the inside. They know what they're seeing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I had an article here. Let me see really quick. Let me see. It says something about the water, and I kind of explained it a little bit, but I want to be more accurate. Okay, it says during the introduction of Dr. June Moon and Rick Flagg, we see June in a bathtub filled with grass, specifically Panicum capillary, something like that, aka witchgrass. It's known to be used to stave off evil or attract lovers, both of which apply to June Enchantress' story.
Wow. So they really went deep. They knew a lot of stuff about it. I had no idea when I was watching this. Holy smokes.
Crazy, right? So I listen, I've watched this movie probably 3 times, and not because I enjoyed it. And the stuff I'm finding, just stopping and reading it, it even amazed me. I'm like, huh? Like, really? So
much. She makes the sign of silence somewhere. I thought she did it right at the beginning there because I have it in my notes.
That's further on in the movie.
Okay, because I had it at 17:22. I don't know where you're at, but I had it at 17 minutes 22. She makes a quick secret sign of silence. She goes, like
it's around the time she's trying to go to see Amanda, and I won't say more because we got to do it on the show. So she's saying now this is the real person. This isn't the demon. She's saying, help me. And in the whole movie, she's crying for help and no one helps her. Right?
She's possessed. She needs an exorcist.
Yeah, something.
That's what she needs.
Right? And Amanda's saying, I assigned him to watch Dr. Moon. And just as I hoped, it got personal. Are you gonna kiss me or not? That's what she's saying to him. And she says, I have the witch's heart. And Dr. Moon has his. Now and you've seen the trope in different spy movies, occult movies, whatever, where they set two people up that they intend for them to get together, but they end up quarreling because, oh, did you use me for this or that? Da da da. Right? Now he'll follow my orders as holy writ. In a world of flying men and monsters, this is the guy talking, the admiral. This is the only way to protect our country. Or is it she talking? I can't remember. Anyway, so they now switch to the Pentagon. And this is a very important scene moving forward. And so now
there's Harbor.
Yep.
Harbor Hopper.
Yeah.
At the Pentagon was dug on 9/11, literally. 1941 was the first opening ground stone of the Pentagon, the literal 5-pointed star. Sorry.
Yeah, some crazy stuff when you look back at the history, man. So anyway, let's see here. What if Superman had decided to fly down, rip off the roof of the White House, and grab the president of the United States right out of the Oval Office? Who would have stopped him? We got contingency plans for nukes in North Korea, anthrax in our mail. We got fluoride in our water. Now, why are they comparing fluoride in our water to terrorism? Right. Makes no sense. I think some of this is to kind of dispel quote unquote conspiracy theories.
Right. I think you're right.
Because next thing he says is, but what happens if the next Superman becomes a terrorist?
But they're reinforcing that fluoride in the water is good. It's actually a good thing.
Yes,
when it's known that it's pacifying you.
Exactly. See, I didn't notice this the first time, or the second time, or the third time.
This is programming, bro. This is incredible stuff, man.
Yeah.
I think we should just wrap it up here. I got to run. I'm sorry, Chris. I apologize. I should have said 2-hour time. I didn't. I should have said 1 hour time. Excuse me. So I didn't know you had so much work. I mean, it's amazing stuff you got here. Where can people find Don't Let Them Burn YouTube? We'll do a follow-up next Friday or Friday after, depending on your...
I'm open.
Okay, cool. Where can people find Don't Let Them Burn on YouTube?
Don't go to just look up Don't Let Them Burn, or go to don'tletthemburn.com, or go to X, or go to Telegram, Rumble, and you'll find me immediately. I'm not really hard to find. So if you want to ask questions, whatever, check out the Hollywood Matrix. That's what this show is pretty much about. We talk about technologies. That's Reign of the Tech, the paranormal shift. And William has been on most of these shows, Amazing Machinations, where we talk about conspiracy stuff. So just check us out and support.
Right, so you have broken down into different topic headings, so people can check that out. And a lot of different guests, a lot of people I don't know, but you know. So people check out if you want some new podcasts or streams to listen to. Go check out Don't Let Them Burn. I'll put a link in the show notes. And my apologies to the audience. The guests. I thought we were only going to do an hour, so I really apologize. But Chris, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right, cool. All right, sorry.